So here we are, Spence. So let's talk some Celtics basketball. I think we should open. We could go in chronological order of the games, but I don't want to do that. I want to jump right in.
We got to leave with the Lakers.
Yeah, the most recent, the most meaningful, most biggest headlines of the week. Lakers at Celtics. Unfortunately, well, this was kind of just a shit show from the get because the Lakers were wearing gold in Boston. And the Celtics, we were wearing those Bill Russell uniforms, which I love. But it just wasn't.
We were robbed.
It wasn't the jersey matchup we wanted or needed. And it sucks. It would have been so much better if we had the purple and white. It just would have been. Purple
and white was what we needed. It seems like the Lakers don't even wear purple anymore, I swear. It does. Yeah, aesthetically, it wasn't perfect. I don't like when we wear those dark green jerseys at home. It just clashes with the court. Seriously.
That's very true as well.
It's not Celtic green. There's a great road jersey, though. Great road jersey.
I love the jersey matchups and all that. The fun jerseys we have now. It's a very exciting time aesthetically in the league.
Some jerseys suck, dude. The Suns should never wear turquoise.
I agree. But I miss the days of you wear white at home. Or if you're the Lakers, you wear gold, or yellow, highlighter yellow now at this point. But
it's such I miss the tradition.
Yeah.
You flip through the channels and you can't even recognize these teams. You would see Phoenix's on, you would be like, which team are they? They're not the team wearing white, they're wearing turquoise. And then the Jazz, who have one of the most rich jersey histories in the league, they turn away from it and now they wear highlighter yellow practice jerseys.
It's so bad. The Celtics, I think, were wearing the Bill Russell jerseys on Christmas, correct?
Yep, against the Bucks.
Yeah, because I was watching the game with my family, and my uncle goes, "Oh, the Celtics are playing." He goes, "Oh, cool. They're doing the Christmas jerseys again, I guess."
No,
but then he goes, why wouldn't why is the home team not wearing white? Why is this? He was old. He's old. He's 60. He was confused. I don't want. Do you want my uncle to be confused? No,
I don't want to be confused. I'm confused.
Yeah,
I'm confused. Why does every team have 17 jerseys that they cycle through?
I don't know.
I don't like it. I don't like
tell you.
The identity of these teams is getting carried away. Although I will say, it is nice to be a fan of a team who's never going to change. Like, we have the alternates we get every year, but at the end of the day, the Celtics and the Lakers never really have to worry about their jerseys ever changing, which is nice.
I agree. Nice. But
because we have one of the strongest, cleanest uniforms.
Although, I will say the one positive that's come out of all these uniforms, 2 positives.
Okay.
And it's outplayed now. We need less of it. Maybe it needs to go away for a little bit. The Miami Vice jerseys are fantastic. They always have been. Especially the original 1 or 2. The original one and then the one after that were fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a little outplayed at this point. And then the Spurs black San Antonio jerseys. The Gervin jerseys. I've always been a huge fan of those for years.
Those are good.
And when they brought those back, I was very happy. Not even as a Spurs fan, but as a basketball fan. It's objectively, I think, one of the best jerseys ever.
Objectively better than their usual homes.
Yeah, and personally, it's my favorite.
I like it. It's clean. That, and then the Fiesta. The Fiesta is good because the Fiesta is actually like it's actually sense. Spurs. Yeah, it makes sense. It's Spurs ball. Spurs. It's San Antonio. It's Spurs ball.
Now they just need to get rid of the 2 shots.
Shots?
That's the worst. Like that's not culture. There's
been to 3 arenas this year. Never do you ever hear the fans go,
it's
shots.
So corny. It's so corny.
No.
I don't think it worked. I don't even think it worked with the old PA announcer. I think it's always been bad. It's kind of like the Texans first down thing. It's just bad. Don't do it.
Just bad.
Yeah, they go.
We don't talk
it's
about
time for another Texans first down. It's bad.
Yeah.
Well, when they had Matt Schaub, they heard it 6 times a game.
Hey, little shout out before we get into actually good basketball, but
to Matt
little
Schaub?
shout out to Will's team.
Oh.
Jeremy Sohan, 30 points. Nice. Cool. Yeah, Rising Stars. Also, Scooter Henderson is in the Rising Stars game. They're doing G Leaguers, putting G Leaguers in the game. That's cool. That's pretty neat. Ryan does not like the idea of talking about anything but the Celtics, and I do not blame him.
I don't want to talk about Jeremy Sohan.
Jeremy Sohan, yeah, he's
like
Dennis
if we want to talk
Rodman.
about Jeremy
He's
Sohan, why don't we
cosplaying
just
as
talk about
Dennis
Dennis Rodman?
May as well, right? May as well.
So anyway, back to the Lakers. Anyway, back to back to the Lakers. Great game, back and forth game. LeBron played out of his mind. Spence, do you have any thoughts about, before we get into the controversial no call on LeBron and then the Celtics ultimately overcoming them in overtime, which happens a lot for the Lakers. If the Lakers go to overtime, fat chance they're probably going to lose in overtime, because you're asking a 38-year-old man and a man with no joints in his knees to carry them at the 40+ minute mark, right?
Yeah,
but anyway, do you have any comments or thoughts on the game itself?
This is the second time we've gone to OT with Anthony Glass Ankles Davis and LeBron, no hairline James, and yeah, I mean the results played out the way you kind of expect them to. I mean, despite the fact that Tatum probably plays way too many minutes. I mean, he's fourth this year. Was fourth last year. I'm a little worried about it. Not gonna lie. Missoula was asked today what he's gonna do about it, and he kind of matter of fact basically just said nothing. So that sucks, but he's still going to be a lot more fresh in these overtime games than the Lakers. The Lakers guys are all so, I mean, they're so old, man. I mean, they're seriously relying on Westbrook and Beverley in these overtimes. Those are two guards who at one point kind of relied on athleticism to carry them in their games, and they don't have that anymore. And I mean, I say that just to say that Pat Bev had that kind of awesome putback dunk.
Right after that three, that was insane.
Seriously. So good night for Patrick Beverley and Patrick Beverley believers. I'm sure he hit his points over. So any lunatics who were betting on Patrick Beverley to cook the Celtics, congrats. I would say that wouldn't have happened if Marcus Smart was in that game. I mean, the defense he would have provided on those Lakers guards. I'm not saying I think Westbrook was 4 for 14, but he did get some open looks that, he if you take enough of them, he's going to hit them. And they showed up in that fourth quarter. I mean, probably more than we did. And there was definitely some calls that went our way. So I'm not going to act like we really earned that fourth quarter, like we really earned that game. We kind of tried to throw it away as many times as possible. There's a lot like that Warriors game last week. I mean, there was a million times that we could have been more conservative or tried to just put it away. And we just, at every moment we tried to give that game away, and we've been playing like that a lot. I'm not really interested in talking too much about the Heat game last week because we had so many guys out of that lineup. You made a good point about how that team is like a weirdly competitive, like 6 or 7 seed with just Tatum and then like randoms. We got to see what second option Derek White looked like, which I know for Spurs fans that rings a little too loudly because that was a reality for several years. But it was, it's cool to see that the team was competitive in those games. But we are really missing Smart. We felt it badly in the Lakers game. And I don't know, just glad we pulled it out. But I really didn't think we were going to get that one.
Yeah. I mean, so the LeBron no call. It was a foul. It was, and that's okay because it happened. It happens to everybody. I don't think LeBron should have thrown his bitch fit that happened to him. Right, that he did.
The tantrum was nuts.
Yeah, exactly. That just happens. It's basketball. The NBA refs Twitter with a very gratuitous sleepless nights tweet was iconic. That was terrible,
cringe, but also
it was bad.
Like sarcasm.
But also, and I know the Lakers aren't built to win in overtime. Should be. It's not like they were down 1 and that foul would have changed everything. Which they would have probably won. They would have won the game if the foul was called. But it was tied, and you had an extra 5 minutes. So if you think you deserve to win, you have 5 more minutes to prove that. And then they collapsed in overtime. Celtics are obviously the better team, but maybe try to win. I don't know.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I know the Lakers' record doesn't speak to it, but when they get that chance, when they have a chance to take the lead, and they're inbounding, and LeBron and AD are 2 of the 5 guys you've got to defend, it's still scary. Like, I know AD's been out for a while, and I think this team is probably a lot more locked into a potential playoff spot if he doesn't miss almost a month, if not a little bit more. Team is pretty scary with both of those guys on the floor. With 5 seconds to play, whatever it was, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see those 2 guys. I'm not going to lie. And LeBron got exactly where he wanted to be. I would say LeBron should totally be able to finish through contact, and he's capable, but it almost seemed like he was baiting for the foul. He got hit, but refs swallow their whistles in the last minute of games, whether it's playoffs or regular season. Nobody really wants to see the game come down to free throws, and that's how the game is called in the final minute. Was it a foul? Yeah. Can you throw such a temper tantrum that it set the tone for that overtime period? No. And then Beverley, look, if I'm Beverley, yeah, it's more worth it for me to get the highlight meme of the weekend with pulling the camera out than it is to win that game, because with the way the Lakers are in the standings, they're competitive for maybe a play-in spot, but that was pretty funny. I gave that to him. That was kind of hilarious. He pulled the camera out. I don't even know what was on the camera. Maybe it was a picture of Tatum slapping LeBron. Maybe it was just a camera.
Maybe it was a picture of Grant Williams.
It could have been a picture of Grant Williams, who also I thought he was playing for the Lakers that night. I mean, he should be on the side of a milk carton right now, because he's been missing for probably 6 weeks. I don't know what the hell is wrong with Grant. He looks lost and confused.
If you'll indulge me for a second, I'd like to read the official tweet from the NBA refs Twitter account. Like I said, so gratuitous. Like everyone else, referees make mistakes. We made one at the end of last night's game, and that is gut-wrenching for us. This play will weigh heavily and cause sleepless nights as we strive to be the best referees we can be.
BS. BS, dude.
What is that? It would be better for them to make that no call and not say anything. Don't say anything. Move on.
We already get the last 2-minute report for every game. The last 2 minutes of every game, they highlight whether calls were made correctly or incorrectly. It's worthless. It hasn't held anybody more accountable. It's at least, I guess, cool to see, getting, if you thought something was foul, maybe it proves you right. That should be it. That should be the end of it, because this is not the first time a game has come down to the wire and a call was missed. And we didn't get apologies for those. So I know this is a big team, or a big game with 2 big market teams. One of the most, it's probably one of the most watched regular season games of the season. It was on, Saturday night, ABC, big matchup. I know you want it to address it, but you don't have to.
And you don't have to do it.
You don't have to. And I'm sure Lakers fans, I'm sure it did nothing for Lakers fans. And if it was us on the other side, well, I can't speak for all Celtics fans. If it was us on the other side, this would probably be a lot different. I don't think, now maybe that's because of the position we're in, that we don't live and die by the result of every game. But I don't think we would have had the same reaction. I think we kind of would have just been over it, truthfully. And there certainly wouldn't have been any kind of meltdown from any of our guys like that. It's not that our guys don't care, but I mean, you move on from it. Tatum got hit a couple times and calls were missed. Tatum didn't get hit a couple times and they gave him the call.
Yeah, exactly.
LeBron's been
like
the
also,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's no benefit from it. The game wasn't over. That's the biggest part too. The game was not over. But LeBron always does that foul. Shit. Like, do you remember? Yeah. What year was it? It was 2018. 2018 Eastern Conference Finals. LeBron makes a huge block on, I forget who. It was someone on the Celtics. He makes a huge block on them, and he just stands at the other end while the Celtics run it back. While their offense is running it back the other way, he just kind of stands there on the baseline, just staring out at the Garden crowd. And it's like, what are you doing? Like,
he was
that's
making
wild.
a point. Yeah, I don't know. LeBron's been the beneficiary of a loose whistle for probably the better part of the last career. 20 years. Yeah, pretty much his whole career since he stepped onto the scene. And
I love LeBron. I love LeBron. Don't get me wrong.
Hey, it does not take away from him, but it's not like that whistle hasn't gone your way more often than it hasn't. And,
right.
Maybe this year has been a little bit different, but I don't know. The game is officiated how it's going to be officiated. It's officiated poorly most times. That's our game. So, I mean, it's not the only sport that has that issue. Did you watch the AFC Championship this weekend? The NFL has the same issue. There's poor officiating in all major sports. It happens. It almost never is the deciding factor of a game. There's 25 different plays in that game where the Lakers could have been better or the Celtics could have been sloppy or the Celtics could have been better a million different times. Right, and so if we lost that game, I would have said, yeah, sucks. The whistle didn't go our way when it probably should have. That's a foul most times. But we also turned the ball over X amount of times. We missed X amount of shots. It never comes down to the whistle. So I don't know. It's just the overreaction was bizarre and pretty. I mean, I would say it's for the cameras. I would keep an eye on LeBron's free throw numbers over the next month. See if they don't tick up a little bit. We'll see. It's something to watch. I feel like it's probably going to happen. And yeah, good. More power to him. If making a point was what he wanted to do, then that's what he did.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think you really hit the nail on the head when you referenced the AFC Championship. And obviously, that play at the very end with Joseph Osai. I
mean, that's
unnecessary roughness.
That was the right call, though, man.
It was the right call. It was unfortunate, especially since he had such an amazing game. But it's horse shit to put that loss on him and that call because, okay,
yeah,
maybe
there was a million plays before that.
Burrow should have gone down and scored, or maybe get a stop, or this or that.
Yeah.
It's just you can't put it on. You can't put it on one play, one call. That's irresponsible.
Burrow throws 2 picks. The Bengals were sloppy. You should not be putting it. It never comes down to the final play. It never comes down to the final whistle. There's always more to it, and Lakers fans are frustrated. So I give them the benefit of the doubt. Give them the benefit of the doubt, man. I want to talk a little bit about Malcolm Brogdon. He saved us so many times in a game where Tatum shot terribly. But this is another game where if he's not shooting well, he's impacting the game so many other ways. Defenses, of course. He guarded LeBron James for a lot of that, for a lot of the night. And when he was on him, he made it hard for him. You're not going to stop LeBron, but when Tatum is on the other end carrying basically the entire offensive load, because now without Smart, I mean, nobody can play make on this team, man. And I'm looking right at Jaylen Brown. He has got to get better at that. He cannot set up other teammates. He cannot dribble in a straight line. He is and he's selling on defense a lot of the time too. I want to see more effort. I want to see better things from Jaylen. Jaylen did come through big time on the offensive end as a scorer, but I mean, the playmaking is just not going to be there for him, and so missing Smart greatly right now. So Brogdon steps up in that role as a backup guard, and it's appreciated.
Am I crazy, or did Brown used to be a better playmaker and defender? Am I making that
Definitely.
up? Am I?
No. There was a time where the narrative was he was a better defensive player than Tatum. Nobody would say that today, unless you haven't watched since 2017. Seriously, I mean, and Brown was a good defensive player, and he still has his moments, and he just picks his spots, man. It's all effort with him. He has the potential to be a great two-way player. It's just he just sometimes looks aloof. He looks like he's got his head in the clouds. He throws those errant passes, lazy passes. He doesn't check he doesn't look where he's going sometimes, straight up. Like and then he does have his moments where he goes tunnel vision, where it's like, I'm shooting the ball on this possession, and I'm not going to act like that doesn't benefit us greatly sometimes. He's just a fantastic shot maker, but leveraging that into the playmaking, especially when we don't have our point guard during this stretch, it would be nice, but we're not getting that from him. And I miss Smart. We're 5 points better when he's on the floor. 119 offensive rating with him, 114 without. 114 is still really good. We're still a really good team, but 119 is elite. So
can you imagine that, like us 3 years ago, saying that missing Marcus Smart is felt more offensively than defensively?
I know, but he's made such great strides on offense. Such great strides. I don't cringe whenever he shoots, right? I mean, at all, really. Even like last year, there was some moments where I was like, oh, please don't. But now, I mean, he really is such a good offensive player. He's figured it out. He is a true point guard and plays on both ends of the ball. And we do miss him defensively, but I would say, yeah, the offense is hurting right now. Tatum carries such a load offensively that it's wearing him down. He already is fourth in league in minutes, and he probably plays a bigger role than any of those guys who are towards the league and towards the top of the league in minutes.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I don't like his minutes.
Didn't like it when we came down to the finals last year and he had no legs at all.
No, he was gassed by the finals. It was bad. That's part of the reason we lost.
Yeah, he shot sub 40% during last year's playoffs. And that's not, I mean, that's a few things. In the finals, it was probably a culmination of the yips and first time and not being able to come through in certain spots. But a lot of it was, holy shit, I've carried this team for the last 6 months, and here I am still doing that. So, and he didn't really have a full offseason the offseason before with the Olympics.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I'd like to see us play with the rotations a little bit, but right now we don't have that wing depth. And I know you and I talked a little bit about what we were going to do at the trade deadline and how we kind of almost prefer to stand pat. I don't think we can do that anymore with the disappearance of Grant Williams. Sam Hauser is gone. You can't play Sam Hauser anymore. Can't.
No, he's
unplayable.
Really had a bad January.
25% from the field in January.
Yeah, no, that's
you cannot
terrible.
play him.
He's unplayable. And then Tatum's minutes need to come down, especially with that wrist thing he's been dealing with. I mean, one bad fall and you might lose your best player, right? He's probably going to need surgery in the offseason. He's playing fine with it as it is, but I would love to see him have some rest. I've kind of changed my mind, and I'd be okay with this going after someone at the trade deadline as long as we don't give up too much, try to do too much, because I'm still haunted by the Kendrick Perkins trade.
If we could keep Pritchard.
He wants a big role that we can't give him.
If we could keep him. I mean,
I don't think we
can. And he hasn't been
him.
Great shooting the ball recently, but I just trust him. I trust that he's going to make the right decisions. And maybe I'm just saying all this right now because we don't have Smart and we lost Brogdon for a game or two. But we need that guard depth. And I feel like there's a trade out there. I feel like there's a Danny Ainge, do us a solid. I feel like there's a Gallinari and like 2 second-rounders, or Gallinari and a first for Kelly Olynyk. I feel like that trade exists.
I don't know.
I would love a reunion.
I don't think the Jazz would give up Olynyk.
No. They're going to have to make a decision on what they're going to do, man. Are they going to push forward and try to be a play-in team, get some playoff experience, or are they going to go the other way and trade some of these guys and try to tank? I wouldn't tank. I think they're in a good position. I also wouldn't look to buy, though, if I'm them. So if I could get a couple assets by offloading a guy like Olynyk, I think it makes sense for them. I don't think Olynyk is moving the needle for them either way. And I think Danny Ainge is always in asset collection mode. We know that more than anybody. And
you're telling me.
If he thinks he can get a first-round pick for a guy who is getting older, he might look to do that. There's other options. I would like to deal with the Timberwolves. Naz Reid, who turned into Wilt Chamberlain when we played them earlier this year. Naz Reid's probably a third big for them, and maybe they look to move off of him to acquire a pick or something. Jared Vanderbilt, also Minnesota, he would be great for our just the wing depth. I don't know that we necessarily need another big man. People are looking at Jakob Poeltl. I'm kind of looking at that 3-4 spot. Who can come in and fill 10 to 12 minutes when Tatum's off the floor? Who can buy us a little bit of time? Who can shoot the ball effectively? Just make good decisions. Play a little defense. Olynyk's not a great defender, but he can come in, kind of play a little power forward for us. Just provide some depth that we don't have. And especially with Grant Williams missing, and he's cost himself so much money, we might get Grant back on a steal of a deal. We may not want him back. I don't know. He has to turn it around. The defense is gone, and he's coping after every foul, going to the officials, begging and pleading, why wasn't that a foul? And I just don't want to see it. I don't want to see it from a guy who's shooting 40% in January. And, I love Grant. He's Batman, but where is he? Do we need to throw up the bat signal?
We do. Gotham City needs him. Beantown needs him, baby.
Boston needs him.
I need him.
I need him badly. I need him badly.
Let's. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about the way you said that.
All right. I'm a little upset that Julius Randle dropped 37 on us when we had both a healthy Rob and Al. So maybe if you wanted to talk about why, maybe if the conversation for should we get another big, that I maybe would hear you out on that, because maybe those guys are tired and those guys can't play every night. Al sits back-to-backs. Rob is on a minutes restriction for the whole season, most likely. So I would hear out trading for a big. I don't know. I trust my guys, but I also recognize that we're maybe not as deep as we once thought. Right? When we started the season, October, November, shooting the piss out of the ball, leading the league in every statistical category on offense, I couldn't be sold on a trade. But now, tomorrow is February 1st. And I don't know. We had a 3-game skid. We didn't look particularly great on Saturday. You could sell me on a few trades.
I think we do have depth. I do. I think we do.
No, we have depth for sure. We might be the deepest team in the league just at face value on paper. But
I don't understand the way this team is run. I don't understand the rotations, because you can't tell me there's not a regular spot for Pritchard. I think that this team would really benefit from Blake playing more regular minutes. Not a lot. Just come in. He comes in and he tries his ass off, and it usually goes pretty well. Even if he's not filling up, okay, you hate that, but he's not filling up the stat category, I still think that he's a very productive member of the team. Luke Cornett's not really doing all that much for me, I'll be honest.
Do not bring up how we need to play Blake Griffin more and then disrespect Uncle Luke.
I just did. I'm not disrespecting Uncle Luke. You just don't. I don't love it.
I love it.
I love it.
I love it. And I don't know. There has to be something behind the scenes with Blake because, like, I don't know. Because to start the season, he was like a pitcher. Like every fifth game, he would play, and he
was really good when he played.
Really good's a stretch. He was high energy.
Good. Exactly. It was awesome.
He was
him
high
coming
energy.
off the bench. He was great.
I don't know. Is he hurt? Like, and it's not even worth noting. Like, it's not even worth mentioning it in the injury report. Because I don't know. We haven't seen him really play much at all. And I would agree. I think there's probably some room for him. I don't know if we should be rolling out our best lineup 38 minutes a night. And we probably do that way too often. I could agree. Maybe there's room for Blake. It's hard to get Pritchard in these games. White is so much better than him defensively. Brogdon is a starter, and I mean you're behind three really good guards. I'd argue one great one really good starting level guard, and then White is just so good defensively. His minutes are very valuable, whether we want to admit it or not. And he's a guy I do cringe when he shoots, but it's hard to put Pritchard above him when you consider the gap there defensively. Although, shout out to Pritchard for the offensive rebounds whenever he comes in. He's just like a sneaky little pest and gets by everybody and takes the ball and starts going the other way. And so maybe he's like that. Maybe Cornette and Blake Griffin could be like NBA first team all energy, just with what they provide off of the bench, and what they bring to this team. It's a unique skill set they bring. Unique is probably an offensive term because I don't know exactly what they bring, but yeah, I'm not thrilled with Pritchard going to the media yesterday and saying, yeah, after this season, I'm looking for a bigger role.
I mean, he has every right to say that, but it sucks.
It does.
Because he deserves a better role. I think he would be fantastic getting 20 minutes a night.
20 minutes a night?
Yeah.
Is that a big role?
I think that he would be fantastic.
Is Peyton Pritchard a starter anywhere else in this league?
Yes.
What teams?
San Antonio? Houston?
No.
Orlando?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Nope.
He's not better than Trey Jones. He's not better than Kevin Porter. He might be better than Kevin Porter. He's not better than Trey Jones.
Yeah, he is. I'm cooking.
He's not better than Jalen Suggs. He might be better than Kevin Porter. Houston sucks. Houston really sucks. Bad. He could probably find a spot.
Houston's literally playing AAU basketball.
It's the worst brand of basketball in the NBA.
Oh, it's disgusting. It's worse than my 2K brand of basketball.
Oh, your brand of basketball in 2K is disrespectful and disgusting. I hate it. I fucking hate it. Seriously, it's the worst. You're so annoying to play against.
I know, isn't it great?
So you spam 99 overall Curry drives, get fouled, and then you just take heaves and they go in because it's 99 overall Steph. So
he's 95 overall.
99 overall 3. So 2K live stream still needs to happen at some point. It still needs to happen.
It's gonna get really heated. That's gonna be a very. We're gonna have to rate that. Rated R.
You have to rate that.
We say bad things to each other.
Yeah, well, we do. We say really bad things. Those games probably shouldn't be streamed. To each other. And it's always friendly. It's always friendly rivalry. Yeah. We keep it civil.
We try our best, but anyway, we've talked a lot of Celtics. Might be time to talk a little bit of Patriots. Because Bill O'Brien, I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty decent about it at this point.
I feel okay about it. I've been listening to some things. For as cynical as Boston media can be about our sports teams and how quickly we turn on players and how quickly we dump on hirings, firings, pretty much everything, we have to be the most cynical local sports media for any city. People are okay with it. It's better than the two-headed dragon of Joe Judge and Matt Patricia. That was terrible. It didn't work. Mac Jones was probably losing his mind. And I'm not saying that last season wasn't on Mac, but let's be honest. I mean, that offense looked like a dumpster fire most of the time. So there's only so much you can do as a second-year QB trying to make your way.
No, exactly. I'm going to say right now, none of that was on Jones this past year. I've said it before. I'll say it till I'm blue in the
None of it?
face.
No. He could have been better.
He could have been better. Marginally. He could have been marginally better, but there was still such a low ceiling with Patricia leading him,
Yeah. And his coaches, I mean, it's tough when your coaches don't really have your back. I mean, the number of times where it seemed like they were disagreeing, whether it be in a game with Mac blowing up, and I can only imagine behind the scenes how bad it got. And now you're talking about a situation that could be a lot more wholesome with Bill O'Brien. They have a relationship, they have a connection. It's not to say that Bill won't rip his ass, and probably even vice versa, but at least you have a situation with a coach who you're familiar with, who's been there, done that. And I guess when I was being pessimistic about the hire, I was thinking of it I was thinking about Bill O'Brien as the Texans head coach. Right. That's what I was thinking about. I should have been thinking about Patriots Bill O'Brien, Alabama Bill O'Brien. Deep down inside of him, there's a really good offensive coordinator in there.
Exactly, and so I think it'll work out. Obviously, Bill O'Brien being hired takes us out of the DeAndre Hopkins sweepstakes, unfortunately.
I won't say that.
I would. They hated each other. They did not have a relationship in Houston.
No, you got to think about it.
Well documented. They were.
You got to think about it from this perspective.
And then he shipped them off for a bag of chips.
Yeah, but DeAndre Hopkins was so productive in that system. You have to think at this point it's been probably how long? 3 years? 4 years, maybe? 3 years?
Like
you got to think about it. Hopkins has turned a corner. He's in a different point of his career. He's still elite, but it's time for him. He's never been in a winning situation. Hell, it's been a long time since Bill O'Brien's been in a winning situation. Seriously, I mean, he's just looking to these are two guys who probably should come back to one another, embrace what they had in Houston. Yeah, I don't think they have a great relationship at this point. They probably just don't have any relationship. I don't know. I don't think it takes us out of it. I think it's a really good coach and an elite player. They'll figure it out. If it's right, if it's the right thing, they'll figure it out. I'm hoping.
Right. And wow,
we need number one.
Will just informed us of some breaking news, which is per Adam Schefter, that the Broncos and the Saints have been discussing two potential packages for Sean Payton to be Denver's coach, which would be Denver's 2023 first-round pick and next year's second-round pick for Payton and the Saints' 2024 third, or Denver's 2024 first-round pick and their 2023 fourth up to the Saints, which, I mean, I think Sean Payton and Russ, that's an interesting duo. I think it'd be pretty interesting.
I'm thinking of it from the perspective of, well, Denver's really, I mean, I don't want to say Denver's screwed. That's probably rude to Russell Wilson. I do think he was bad on an injury, but it feels like they're really, it feels like, would you want to have Russell Wilson for the next 10 years, or would you say that they're more, it's just like they're stuck with Russell Wilson?
I think it depends on how this year's goes. I think he still has it in him for at least the next couple of years. But after that, I think that you gotta try to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 to 3 years, because I think you're stuck with Russ after that. You're overpaying him still right now, but he still has a lot of talent at this time, and he's like what? He's early 30s, mid 30s.
Mid 30s, but the Lakers are stuck with Russ, and the Broncos are stuck with Russ. So bad time to be named Russ in sports. Yeah, never been a worse time to be a Russ.
No, yeah, that's very true.
Well, there you go. Bad time to be a Russ. That's the title of today's show.
Oh, we got it.
We found the title. Bad time to be a Russ. Bad news, Russ. But good news for Russ if that actually pulls through. Going from Nathaniel Hackett to Sean Payton's probably the biggest upgrade imaginable. The only upgrade better would probably be Matt Patricia to Bill O'Brien. Brady to the Niners is happening. We're not going to talk about it. I'm just saying it's happening. I just want it there to be. I just want that to be said, so that way when it happens, I can go back and clip this. Brady's going to the Niners on Tuesday, January 31st. I said that he's going to the Niners.
Well, then let me
it's happen in
say
like 2 months.
Let me say in response to that. No, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to have my own. I'm just saying Aaron Rodgers.
Don't say the Jets. That's not even hot.
Is going to be a Green Bay Packer next season.
That's probably hot because they came out and basically said they're moving off of him.
Or
I would
Raider,
be moving off
or
of
Raider.
him.
Or Raider.
I don't like Aaron Rodgers at this point. He looked bad all last year. Bad. He turned the ball over almost as much as Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott stinks.
He does. But also honest. Matt LaFleur is a terrible head coach.
We can talk.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Anyway,
I'm not going to defend Matt LaFleur, but also Aaron Rodgers handpicked the guy. I guess they're like, best buddies or whatever, which usually doesn't work. Picking your head coach and picking your surrounding, your supporting cast. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter the sport. Yeah. That's why I think Brady to the Niners is awesome. Already has a great supporting cast and a great coach. Doesn't need to. He came into to Tampa.
They just need a quarterback.
He started changing everything around. That's not what you do. It's bad. That's what LeBron does. It's bad. It doesn't work. No. It doesn't work.
All right.
What are you feeling for the draft for us, for the Patriots? What are you feeling? After the recent reports from draft so-called experts, that JSN, Jackson Smith of Ohio State, is supposedly what do they call him? He's going to be no better than a third option. If that's true, bring him on because he's totally a Patriot then. But, that's a guy we've looked at that you and I have been optimistic about. You still feeling a receiver in the early rounds, or should we hold off?
I think it depends. It really depends on what we're going after in free agency. If we can fill our wide receiver holes in free agency, then I could see us going with a defensive option because our identity has always been on defense, usually. And Brady had some of the best defenses in his time in New England. And that's such a huge part of not only the Patriots ballgame, Bill Belichick's ballgame, but also just football in general. And so I think that if we're not going after a wide receiver, I'd want to see us go after a defensive player, maybe a corner, maybe a safety. Don't want to see us go after an offensive lineman because I think that at our pick, I don't think we would get anyone that would be valuable enough to do that. Will mentioned Quentin Johnston. I don't think Quentin Johnston's going to be available at our pick.
No, Addison might. Jordan Addison might.
Jordan Addison. That would be. I honestly might take Jordan Addison over. I don't know. JSN's so good though.
I think I would lean Addison
I'm really high
at this
on
point.
JSN.
I think we've just had more from Addison for a longer time. I don't think he had the most impressive season he could have at USC. I think there was a little bit more optimism for that team as a whole. But it was new quarterback, new coach. He had everybody there was straight out of the portal. So I'm not going to beat them up for not having the most electric offense. of all time, as you know, it's somewhat promised. But I would like Addison. I'd still lean a receiver in the first round. Just we don't have a number one option, man. Myers is a second option. Thorne is a second option or a third option.
Great second and third options, by the way.
Great stuff, but we need a true one. And there was probably a time in the NFL where you'd say a first-year guy can't impact you that way on offense, but I think since guys like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson have burst onto the scene, I think teams are more willing to look at top receivers coming out of the draft and then put the ball in their hands more often. I think that's just a schematic change, a change of the way coaches operate in the NFL, in today's NFL. And it's good to see because these young guys, they have the most burst and the most speed of anybody. Chase, Jefferson, guys that age they are generational talents, but there's probably a time where they don't get that many opportunities and get the ball as early and as often as they have, but they have catapulted their teams, and the Patriots desperately need somebody like that. A true number one weapon.
No doubt, and I hope it's Hopkins. I do. That'd be awesome. I'd buy a jersey. You should not. I'm not going to let you buy that jersey. But
whose jersey am I allowed to buy? With my jersey curse in place, whose jersey am I allowed to buy?
You want a Kevin Durant jersey?
No. In Boston sports, who am I allowed to buy? Who do we want to go away?
You can get a Grant Williams jersey.
Dang. I was going to say Trent Brown.
Jersey.
Dude. I was going to say a guy like Trent Brown or...
Well, I'm trying to give you decent options.
Maybe a bottom feeder. You know?
Oh, okay.
You're trying to get rid of Pritchard and Grant. I just think they are, they had a bad month, but you're like out on them.
No, I'm not. I'm not out on them. I just... Okay.
No, you're out. You're out on them. No, you're out.
No, I'm in.
You're out.
Buy a Trent Brown jersey. You can go track him down. You can go track him down at your local Wendy's and wear it. Maybe he'll sign it for you. I don't know.
Well, I have a Tatum and a Brown in the cart on Fanatics. I have a Tatum and the Brown in the cart.
Don't you dare.
Next paycheck.
Don't.
Might happen. Might happen. Fired. Thanks. Appreciate that. Really, seriously, I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
what else? What else is there for you today?
About it.
That's it. What are you gonna do after this? Tear into some Greek yogurt.
Have some Chobani Greek yogurt with a little
Sip
bit of
the fire.
A little bit of fruit. I don't have a fire. A little bit of fruit and maybe some granola. You good for me?
Nice. You're a big granola guy.
Going to church this evening, so that'll be good.
That's good. You need that. A little soul cleansing.
Yeah, maybe I'll play some video games with you and Will this evening. I think we're gonna play some Park, so I'll keep you tuned. I'll keep you informed on that.
No, not likely.
Yeah, I think it's that.
No, not likely.
Yes.
You want to play Park, and I don't. 2K Park is just cheeks, dude. Cheeks.
Okay, so Will's going to hop on and we'll play Pro-Am. It'll be good. Can't wait. It'll be fun. Cool.
Look into it.
Well,
enjoy the cold weather, everybody. Enjoy the Celtics game tomorrow. Celtics Nets. Always fun when Kyrie comes to town. I can't wait for all our guys to dap him up because they have no energy at all. Kyrie's not playing. Kyrie, that's so Kyrie. Come back to Boston. What a bitch. What a bitch. He better play. I want him to play. And Durant better play too. And I'm not going to curse out Durant. I like Durant, but Kyrie. Yeah, I like Durant. Well, except for curve us. Durant did give us the hardest curve ever. We went to bed on the night of July 2nd. Was it July 3rd, 2017? I went to bed. 2016, I posted a story on Instagram, like something like Durant's locked in. It was like a picture of like one of my Celtics banners, and I was like, can't wait to wake up and he'll be on the team. Woke up and he was a Warrior, so that was cool. That was cool. Harrison Barnes was a Maverick. In other news, Harrison Barnes, world changing, was a Mav. Yeah, what a trade! Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Love that.
It's not good. All right, take us away.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of The Splash. If you made it this far, be sure to leave us a 5-star rating. Send us presents at... I'm not going to give you Will's address this week. That's fine. It's for next week. Exclusive content. But thank you so much. Be sure to check us out on Instagram at The Splash Boston. Changed the name with our new branding. Hope you like it. You can thank Will Glover for that. He did an excellent job, and I want to give him a shout out. Anyway, check us out on thesplashpod.com to keep up with everything Spencer and Ryan Galloway, because you love it. And that's all I got. I'll see you next week. We'll see you next week. Spencer might be out of a job.